So I'll share my screen now briefly just to show you how that should help fire up now. Yeah, this is just a custom scorecard that I've created just to show you the new metrics we've added in one place. So I'm aware that not everybody is going to have these data for these metrics because you may not provide these services. But if you do, we've now got the two additional community metrics, so community 52-week waits and urgent community response to our performance, as well as three mental health metrics. So children and young people, one or more contacts, mental health crisis patients receiving face-to-face contact within 24 hours, and then restrictive rate of restricted interventions. So they're all in there now. Sorry.
Yeah, Tom, sorry, can you just share, because obviously thanks Kevin for that. Obviously Kevin's on the call and I'm sure that he won't mind us sharing Glenn's scorecard. You just want to like go into South Warwickshire or something and then just show the full totality of the NOF metrics for just a major acute. That might be really helpful just to give you a flavour, because I know that there's some people on the call that have never used Public View before. So, you know, this is again just showing you the breadth of what's in there from the NOF scorecard. So you just obviously, as we know, click on the global scorecard, go on to NOF, but this gives you where we are currently. I think that right, there we go. I was going to say, heavens. I think just to be really, really mindful of we're working with our users really closely. We are fully aware that the NOF metrics are changing quite quickly. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we're up to date with all of those as much as possible. Working with the lovely Glenn and Kevin and team, and a lot more of you to make sure that wherever there are changes, we get these into Public View as quickly as possible. However, please bear in mind that we're working at pace, but if you notice something or if you get the heads up that something's going to change pretty quickly, the quicker notice we have of it, the quicker we can get our developers on to change it. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Julie. Which actually, getting to the scorecard, provides a nice segue to the other change that we've made. So on the last forum, the feedback you gave us was around the NOF being able to sort of track your progress as you move through the quarter. So not just seeing the monthly snapshots, but being able to see as a particular quarter progresses, how your NOF metrics are performing in relation to everybody else, to give you essentially a heads up, right, ahead of the national quarterly calculations about what your NOF score is likely to be. So the eagle-eyed amongst you may notice there's a couple of other additional metrics on here now than there has been in the past, which if I sort this, to get them all in one place, we've now got these quarter-to-date metrics that will have appeared for you in your scorecard. So this is partly to lay the foundations for what I'm about to show you in a minute, but also to have metrics in their own right now, so you can see how you're tracking for the particular NOF metrics which are measured on a quarterly basis. You can now see how you're tracking through the quarter for those metrics. I did have one quick question here for feedback. So as we were adding these quarter metrics, we've noticed that the names for the metrics that are in sort of the official publication, and what we've added here, don't match directly to the metrics that we've had historically in Public View. So an example list might be emergency department attendance is managed within 4 hours. So that's the official metric name on the NHS England dashboard, but in Public View historically we've called the metric A&E 4-hour standard. So bit of a question really open to the group. By all means, shout or put a message in the chat. Is there anybody got a preference? Would you prefer to see the short name that we've got in Public View already, or would you rather see the metrics named officially as they are on the NHS England dashboard? Can't see the chat if anybody. We should have done a poll, shouldn't we, Julie?
Shorter name from Nicholas. Actually, probably best a show of hands for shorter name. Oh, a show of hands for the longer name. All right.
Is it about
I think I shared my hands a bit too early on this one, Julie, but we've had the same issue internally because we've been developing NOF scorecards, and the question has been, we've got our own naming convention internally for stuff like this, but there has been the ask to actually align them to the national framework, just so it's a bit more recognisable. But it's a good question actually, and we're a little bit in between here at Huff. We've got a kind of a combination, but I think increasingly we are being asked to align it to the national framework. They're not worded particularly great, I don't think, in some instances.
I think then, Tom, it's probably best to align it to the national framework. I'm going to stick my neck on the line then, I think, just for consistency, because hopefully once that's embedded, that won't change. She says trying to be ever so. So should we go with the national one? And then all I would say is, please, you guys feedback if anything needs changing, or if you start using it and you think actually this doesn't work, as long as we make you aware that we might need to put some narrative, Tom, and I don't know, in the details page that this previously was, if we can. I don't know if we can, but let's maybe take it offline and think about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can absolutely add extra detail into the details tab if that's useful.
But that work for everybody? Again, a show of hands or not? Will it change it everywhere or just here? Tom, question for you.
Yeah, so if we change the metric names, it's going to change everywhere.
Yeah, I'll change the metric now.
It's also worth pointing out the ones in the NOF dashboard are quite wordy. So these ones that we've added in are quite so we're using terms like emergency department instead of A&E, but they're still a bit shorter because they're just too wordy, the ones on the official one. But the key is to use the identical terms.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so I think, and feel free to let us know afterwards if anyone isn't comfortable with this, but I think what we'll probably aim to do then is make the metrics names in public view consistent where we can with the official national publication metrics, albeit, as Jeff said, we might need to trim them slightly just so they present okay on single lines and that kind of thing.
I'm just going to say, yeah, Nicholas has made a good point. We could just, instead of it being emergency department, just put ED. If that saves some, if that helps. But okay, let's reflect the national metrics as the naming conventions that they are being published centrally. Then hopefully everything will align. If that doesn't work, then obviously you guys have just got to feedback to us, and then we can have a rethink.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone. Okay, so that's the as I mentioned, that was in top triggered by the addition of these quarter to date metrics. So that's having those quarter to date metrics, as I mentioned, is now the sort of foundation, if you like, for the next bit of work that we're doing around the NOF Beta Dashboard. And so I'll be able to show you this in a second in our development environment. So this is hot off the press. It's not live yet. It's still being tested and refined, but I want to give you a sneak preview of it so you can get an idea of what's coming and let us know if you like it or not. Just as a bit of context to that, so anyone that wasn't on the last one of these calls, the message I think that came out quite clearly from that was that one of the ways you see public view adding value, particularly around the NOF, is to be able to give you that advanced notice first of all of how you're tracking across your NOF score, and within a quarter you can see how things are going, which is why we've got the quarter to date metrics, but also then being able to give you not just seeing how your NOF score is tracking, but giving you some actionable insight into what can you actually do about that ahead of the national calculation to actually hopefully improve that NOF score. So with those two things in mind, we revisited the NOF dashboard, and we were making a few updates to it to sort of help you with both of those things. So if I just jump across now onto our, so this is our development environment, it might be a little bit slow, and also some of the data in here might not be 100% accurate because it comes from a different data source to the production environment, but it should hopefully give you enough to sort of see what we're working on at the moment. So for anyone that's not seen this already, this is a new NOF Beta Dashboard. This page is actually live in the production environment, albeit a slightly different version of this. But the aim of this page was to be able to essentially calculate what your NOF organisation delivery score is based on the latest published data. Okay, so as new data gets published, we pick that up in public view. We then apply the NHS England methodology to that data to compare your score against everyone else in the country, and give you an indicative NOF score. And that's also broken across the different domains. So we've got, you can see the domain level score, and then all the metrics within each domain. So you can really interrogate, what different metrics and areas of the trust are affecting your overall NOF score. So a couple of the additions then since last time. So what you can now do, so the first addition to mention is that now this is pulling from the quarterly to date metrics. Okay, so before that was just the monthly snapshot. It's now using those quarterly to date metrics, so you can see how your NOF score is tracking as each quarter progresses. But you can also now, there's the addition of this drill through icon here. So if I choose cancer 62-day weights, we can now drill into that to interrogate that in a little bit more detail. So for Liverpool, for example, we can see that they're in segment 2 for this metric. If we want to understand that a little bit more, we can click on this metric now, and you're going to get this pop-up modal. So the first thing it's going to present to you is essentially the specialty level data that is feeding into that overall score. So you can see which specialties departments are affecting that NOF score in a positive way, so which are the best performing specialties. But you can also see the worst performing specialties, which might be the areas that there's an opportunity to focus on to improve and drive up that overall NOF score. You can also then see how that tracks over time, both in terms of that quarterly view, but also retaining that monthly view as well. So this was something that we discussed, I think, on the last forum, was being able to still, although moving to a quarterly to date view, being still able to see how that's tracking on a monthly basis. So on this view here, you can see, how the quarterly score is tracking both in the quarter you're in, but the previous quarters and how that might be trending, and on a similar view for the monthly scores as well. We've also got addition of a leaderboard. So for that particular metric, you can see exactly where your trust is sitting within the national rankings for that metric. So you've just got the information you can see in there about what the current score is, how that compares to target, and whether things are moving, whether you're moving up or down. We've got a little sort of form guide, I suppose you call it, on the right hand side there, so you can see how your NOF score has changed for that metric over the last few months. And then finally, we've got this segment view, which is actually something that was in the current live version, but you can now get to it here. And the whole idea with this is enabling you to see what would it take in real terms to actually move you up a NOF segment for that given metric. So because this one we're in segment 2, it's basically showing what the gap is to hit target, both in percentage terms, but also in the number of patients that would need to be treated to move up to that, to hit target and move up to segment 1 for that metric. And that's it. That's where we're up to. You can click through as well to see. If I click that, it'll take me through to the current metrics area for each metric. So you can see all the usual charts and everything just as you can in public view today, but for that quarter to date metric. I'll shut up for a second. Any questions on it or comments on any of that?
Are we tracking in the right direction? Is this helpful? Is this what you envisaged it would potentially look like? Great, we've got a couple of thumbs up. I think what we're trying to do is not lose public views USP, which was basically to make it a very, very easy visual, so anybody within the organisation, from the NEDs to the execs, whatever, can actually look at the tool. I think it's more about ensuring that we keep that. The last thing we want to do is make it really complicated, because as we all know, then people will look at it. We want to try and make it as easy as possible. David.
Just wanted to say that I think this is really, really good, and I'm looking forward to us having this and being able to sit down with our Koo, because I think she will love this level of detail. I mean, the dashboard view is great, but showing them, because we will probably like snapshot the dashboard view or something that will go into the board report, but giving them direct access to look at this type of stuff is fantastic. So I think it's going to be really well received by our exec team once it's available.
Brilliant, great, thanks David.
Thanks, David.
Patrick.
Yep, no, great, looks great. Can't wait till it go live, and I'll probably get lost for hours in this, but that's all good. Just thinking about the previous set of metrics that you showed, Tom. So things like UCR and community weights, will they drop into? How quickly will they drop into the NOF Beta segment? Because I'm on mine now and I can't see them there.
Yeah, they when this gets deployed, I believe Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong here. When this all goes live, they will be there as well. So they'll if your trust collects data for any of those metrics, when this all goes live, those metrics will appear on this Beta dashboard and feed into the whole scoring system.
Yeah, on release, because we in a previous version we included all the metrics on the screen, even if you don't have a score for it, and we thought that would be a bit controversial if you don't have, if you don't have the community metrics applicable to your organisation. You may wonder why they're showing on your dashboard and worry if they're contributing towards the score, even if there is no score. So we haven't put them on for that reason. We've made an adjustment to this dashboard so that doesn't happen. So yeah, if you show, for example, team side, you'll see the community ones in there. Finance and productivity, Tom, a little bit more tricky.
Sure, I can have a look at it. See.
Sorry, there was a question about finance and productivity. A little bit more tricky, that one. We because they don't publish it at the moment, as far as I'm aware. So we can pull the data from the NOF dashboard, but it wouldn't be giving you any advanced insight because it would only be available when it's available in there. So if it gets published beforehand, then I think we would really quickly get it in. I think eventually we will probably get the finance and productivity stuff in there, Tom, right?
Yeah, I think it's potentially, yeah, if it's of enough value to you all. Yeah, I think until now we've largely focused on getting the organisation delivery score metrics in there, because that's where we can get the data, but also where we think we can add the most value and give you the most insight into how you're performing compared to everybody else. I guess our assumption at this stage is that you all know your financial position, or certainly that financial override. So yes, we could add it, but would that add a huge amount of value to you, or would you rather us focus on enhancing the more operational metrics?
Patrick.
Yeah, sorry, I think both. Sorry to be greedy, but because if we're going to use this internally, share with operational colleagues, etc., they'll be looking for the finance stuff as well. So even though it's at a trust level, it will have an impact on the overall score. So I think even if you can only add it after publication, it would still be then all in one place rather than us having to go to different places to look for it. So yeah, I think it would be good to have that in as well.
Thanks, Patrick. And is it just to put that in some terms, I guess, that Yeah, I assume you still want to know what the organisation delivery score would be without the finance metrics, but then the sort of financial overlay on top of that and how that would be capping or affecting that overall NOF score. Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick, it would be. I mean, I know we do already, but Tom, I think Jeff, if we sort of sit down and think about that, what that potentially could look like. Patrick, it would be really good to get you onto another call with obviously a couple of you, John, and some of the others that have been really helpful feeding back previously. Obviously with you, Mark, as well, please, just to sort of feed into that and make sure that we're doing the right thing. It looks correct, it's going to add value rather than us putting it in and then saying, right, we're going to send it live. So what we'll do is we'll have a conversation internally, look at what we potentially could do, and before we probably do anything, might just want to reach out to a few of you just to sanity check our thinking, if that's okay.